Tim Curry is an evil, child-murdering clown. No, not that one. This one is much lamer. As we enter an amusement park from hell, where sinning worm creatures argue with sentient balls, and rhyming spider women play games of chance with severed heads. We watch Gingerclown, today on...
NANI is this?
Pitch for sketch comedy. Idea for sketch comedy skits. You ready? I'm gonna pitch.
No.
I'm gonna pitch some ideas.
Okay.
To you. Okay. So there's a couple, and they want to start an investigation. So they want to hire a private investigator. So they look online and they get a number for a private investigator. But then when he shows up at their house, it turns out they read the website wrong, and instead of hiring a PI, they've actually hired rapper T.I. And the only thing he wants to investigate is his daughter's hymen to make sure that she's still a virgin.
What? Is that a thing? Did he do that?
That's a thing from 2 years ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wikipedia. She does not speak to him anymore.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a maniac.
That's one skit idea.
Is he the guy who...
that I have.
Who partnered with Andy Samberg for I'm on a Boat?
No, that's T-Pain.
That's T-Pain.
Okay. Understandable. They're both T-based rappers.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, understandable. No, T-Pain is the one that everyone likes.
I think I've just proven that I don't really have my finger on the pulse of pop culture.
All right.
Or current events.
Let me pitch my other idea to you. I'll see if you like this one.
Mm.
All right. So there's a guy, and he's trying to get back into the dating scene.
Okay.
Right? So he goes to like a community center where they're having like a singles night, singles in his area, but not like that, not like the pop-up ads. So he goes and he's looking around, and there's different rooms that everyone's in, and he walks past one room and someone's taped a sign on the door that says over 30. And he's like, oh, I'm 35. This is good. I don't want to date too young, or people will call me creepy. So this is good. Over 30 is good. So he goes in the room, but instead of there being women over 30, there's over 30 women who have accused rapper T.I. and his wife of sexual assault.
Oh, Jesus. What did T.I. ever do to you, Kaz?
Me personally, nothing.
Jeez.
Over 30 women and one man?
Yeah.
All right, one more.
One more T.I.-centric improv skit.
So T.I. is a monster.
T.I. walks into a bar. Yeah.
That's it. No, that's just it. T.I. is a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is my thing. I just feel like not enough people are talking about the fact that T.I. is a monster. And speaking of talking
Maybe
about,
we have better shit to worry about in the world.
Possibly. I don't know. Honestly,
there has been a pandemic
going on. Yes, he did get fired off of Ant-Man 3, so there were certain repercussions. He's that guy. He's like Paul Rudd's buddy in Ant-Man, in the Ant-Man universe. Not anymore.
Isn't that Michael Pena?
That's one of them.
Oh, okay.
He's the black friend.
Oh, okay.
So Ant-Man 3 is going to come around and is all like, what happened to your one black friend? And Paul Rudd's going to be all like, we don't...
Nick Fury?
I've never... Yeah, Nick Fury! You mean Falcon?
Yeah.
He became Captain America. That's why he's not hanging out with me anymore.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Solid intro, Kaz.
Solid intro. Honestly,
One of the all-time greats.
I thought about the P.I.T.I. thing, and I'm just all like, there's something there. I can work with that.
I can squeeze blood out of this stone. I can tick Jameson off with this.
Speaking of ticking Jameson off, welcome back, however you wish to self-identify, to The Fuck Is This, where we dive through DVD bins, sort through streaming apps to find the weird, the bizarre, and the unloved. I'm your host, Kaz Lesgard, and joining me always is Jameson Rafter.
What it is, everybody. Actually, speaking of ticking me off, I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh, a bone? Oh, how appropriate, given that it's still currently 2 months of Halloween Spooktacular! Lots of bones involved in that. What's your current bone? I'm gonna reword that immediately. What is your
present
gripe?
bone?
What is your gripe with me?
Last episode, when I was talking about how I share a name with a famous Irish whiskey, you countered that with, oh yeah, there's like some Belgian liquor that's named after me, and it's got like some moose blood in it. And then when I was researching pictures for our YouTube portion, I came across like that audio clip, and I was like, hey Kaz, what's the actual name of that liquor? So I know to put it in the YouTube thing. And why don't you tell the people at home what you told me?
The people at home are already several steps ahead of you, Jameson. Most of them were probably aware of the fact that I was completely bullshitting you. I said it had moose blood in it. How did you not know that I was full of shit when I said that? Also, I was 3 beers in when I said that, so I don't know. I still think that's on you.
First of all,
entirely.
given how like a lot of crap craft brewers are like tampering with diamonds, I fully would believe that they are like putting some kind of fucking blood.
They're putting diamonds in the beer?
Mm-hmm. I mean, some coffee's brewed with like cat shit, so like nothing like surprises me anymore.
The best coffee.
Yeah, but more to the point, I just assume, like, why would my friend lie to me? What else have you lied about on this fucking show?
They're not called lies on podcasts, they're called bits.
You know what? This is why I'm not a fan of your bits.
Well,
anyways, that's my year.
The important thing is that I'm a fan of my bits, and I hope you're all a fan of your bits as well, too, unless you don't like your bits, in which case you can change your bits, because you have free will. So, today, we're watching something. We had to kind of, like, change gears at the last minute, which is why this introduction is a little more punchy than it usually is. I did originally have a guest booked, but things happen, no fault for anyone one way or the other, so we just kind of had to scramble. Luckily, I had a movie in the chamber that I've been wanting to do an episode on. Jameson, currently right now, you have no idea what movie we're about to watch. You, the listener, know because it's the title of the episode.
Yeah. No, I'm going in totally dark for this,
Yes.
just like back in the day.
Back in the day, how we used to do things where we would just blindside each other with, this is what we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been some sort of fate or divine intervention, Jameson, that we're going to be ending up watching this movie today, because when I was getting dressed in the morning, I was just like, what t-shirt am I going to put on? And I ultimately decided
This is a clue?
that I would wear my amazing Tim Curry shirt that I got for Halloween a couple of years back. Describe it for you at home. At the front, it is Dr. Frankenfurter. Now, you still haven't seen Rocky Horror.
Yep.
There's a song in Rocky Horror that says, don't dream it, be it. So you can see on the front here, there's Frankenfurter, it says, don't dream it. And then on the back, what does it say, Jameson?
Be It, and it's the clown from It.
So, you know what? Normally, we watch obscure movies that no one's ever heard of, but because it's Halloween, it's my favorite holiday of all the holidays, I thought we would break from tradition and we would watch a Tim Curry horror movie where he plays a maniacal clown who preys on children. That's right! We're watching Gingerclown.
Hooray!
2013's Gingerclown, directed by Hungarian director Balázs Hatvany.
Gesundheit.
I think that's how you pronounce that name. I apologize if that's not correct. This is a movie that I found while I was combing through Tim Curry's filmography, and obviously the name stuck out to me given the fact that Tim Curry has previously played a far more iconic evil clown than the titular Gingerclown. But the more I dug into it, the more I realized this movie has, yet again, a treasure trove of actors that I love talking about who are in this. So I'll run down the cast list. I'll also say their character names, because all of them are amazing. So, of course, Tim Curry is playing the titular Gingerclown.
Okay.
Playing the role of Brain Eater.
Oh!
We have the legendary Lance Henriksen.
Oh, crazy.
From Aliens and
Yeah.
Terminator and other things. I don't believe we've ever covered a movie with him.
No, surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, playing the role of Stomach Crumble.
Holy shit, these names.
Is the great Michael Winslow
Ooh,
from Police Academy,
yeah.
who makes all the wacky sounds and whatnot.
The beeps, the creeps, and the sweeps.
Definitely be adding some creeps. Don't know if there'll be any sweeps or bleeps. Playing the role of Nellie the Spider Woman, we have Sean Young.
Oh, from Blade Runner.
From Blade
Wow,
Runner,
I haven't seen
and
her.
of course her second most famous role, breaking into Tim Burton's office dressed as Catwoman and harassing him to cast him in Batman Returns.
I didn't hear that
No,
story.
that's a famous Hollywood story where
Oh,
he was before he cast Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie, he was holding open auditions, and Sean Young, rather than trying to get a traditional audition, she just decided to, you know what, I'm just going to go method.
And burglarize his office.
She just, okay, look, I might not know all the details of the story. She might not have broken into the office. She didn't have a meeting with Tim Burton, is the important thing.
I hope she, did, cartwheels over, a laser security system.
I mean, who
and
knows?
used, the claw fingers to make a circle in his window and
The only people who know about that are Tim Burton, Sean Young, and God. Who's to say? The final cast member in this, another master of horror playing the worm. I just saw the name of the character and I just started laughing. Playing the role of Worm Creature.
Okay.
is Academy Award nominee Brad Dourif.
Oh!
Chucky himself.
Oh, wow.
So quite a rogues gallery of genre actors here.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this movie. The synopsis here on IMDb: to impress the girl of his dreams, Sam enters an old amusement park where torturous monsters roam the ground. And that's kind of all the info I have about this. Again, this wasn't the plan. This is just something that I've wanted to do for a while, and we needed a backup movie, so this is it.
Yeah, just such an emergency.
Yeah. So is this our shortest introduction ever?
I mean, we could, like...
Seems like it.
I suppose so. Like this is just playing on the trope of the creepy clown, right? Like the psychotic, creepy clown.
It's called Gingerclown.
Gingerclown, fine.
So it's either playing off the creepy clown trope or playing off the creepy ginger trope. Or both of them.
Oh, I see. I don't know, do you think the scary clown concept is a little overplayed these days?
Oh, well, I mean, like, wasn't there... How long ago was it that we were starting to see creepy clowns popping up in the news?
That was like...
There was that period where that was happening.
There was that trend going, like a viral trend where people would just, like, go around as a scary-looking clown and scare people. And thank God that phased out. Because I think those kind of YouTube pranks are very fucking annoying. And I'm so happy that I never got subjected to one. I've, like, been in the presence of a flash mob a couple of times, and I just... heel turn, pivot, and walk the other way. I cannot be bothered with that kind
God,
of
there's
shit.
acting going on. Oh no, choreography. Oh, not this. No, well, whenever you see a flash mob, you just have to join in.
Or you walk the other way. Go the long way to your destination.
Has there ever been a flash mob that's people all dressed like the Flash, and they gang up on one person? Maybe some of them are the Flash, maybe some of them are Flash Gordon, maybe a few of them are going a little more obscure. Hey, maybe there's a few Venoms thrown in there as
Flash
well.
Thompson.
Flash Thompson.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the ball we're rolling with now.
Maybe we should have cut the intro short.
I don't know. What other bullshit can we say here?
Well, thank God Tim Curry's got another crack at playing a scary clown.
Yes.
He didn't quite nail it the first time around, I imagine. Because I haven't seen the original It. I haven't seen the modern It movies.
Are you not a fan of clowns in general? Do you not? Does that disturb you? Or...
Not really, no. No, like, I find clowns annoying. I don't find them, like, scary or creepy.
Sure.
I get, like, the concept of, like, the scary maniacal clown, but I think I've just watched too much Batman media in my youth to, like, really associate scary clowns other than anything but the Joker, so...
Right. Interesting that you brought that up. There's a couple of tangents that I can go off here just to fill up time. Did you know that originally, before they hit on the idea of hiring Mark Hamill to do the voice of the Joker for Batman the Animated Series, they originally hired Tim Curry?
I heard that, yeah.
Yes, and they ultimately decided not to use his voice because he was, quote, too damn scary. And to this day, that recording has never been heard by anyone, and that is just one of the biggest shames that I can imagine. Please, someone release that. I need to hear what Tim Curry sounds like as the Joker.
I'm sure he was pretty much like the voice of every cartoon villain.
Yeah.
From what I can, like, Fern Gully, and I think he did like a couple of
Pebble and the Penguin.
Yeah, a couple of Disney movies as well, straight to DVD.
He was
he
was the evil pipe organ from Beauty and the Beast of the Enchanted Christmas.
Yeah, so just cobble some of those clips together and dub it over Mark Hamill's Joker.
But it's genuinely surprising that Tim Curry has never played any Batman villain.
Yeah, actually.
The closest he's ever come is he did do a voice on Young Justice. I believe he played Gideon Graves, who's kind of like a J. Jonah Jameson type figure. He's kind of like a fake news guy. So I suppose he's a DC villain in that sense. Alright, this is Kaz from the Editing Bay. Before you fucking nerds come for me, I just want to say, I know I was wrong. The character that Tim Curry plays in Young Justice is in Gideon Graves. That's the character from Scott Pilgrim that Jason Schwartzman plays. The character he plays in Young Justice is G. Gordon Godfrey. Alright, I was wrong about a comic book fact, so sue me. Fucking come for me, nerds, I dare you. But but he's never played the Scarecrow. He'd be a great Mad Hatter. But, it's very odd that they've never gotten Tim Curry to do something in the Batman universe.
You know what they could have done? They could have done a modernized version of Vincent Price's Batman villain from the 60s.
Egghead, yeah. Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, the sad reality of the fact is that Tim Curry is still not up to full health after suffering the stroke that he had many years ago. He's still with us, which warms the cockles of my heart. I'm glad that he's not gone from this plane of existence, but unfortunately his trademark voice is just not there anymore.
Yeah.
So he's done a handful of things, but it's hard to get him in the booth these days. It seems like that's well and truly over for him.
I imagine he's retired from acting at this point.
I would think he's in a soft retirement. I think maybe if someone offered him a role, he would do it. They did do a TV remake of Rocky Horror that I heard was not great, but they convinced him to come out and sort of be the narrator for that. And that role requires you to basically sit down the entire time, and it's only like a handful of lines, so that I think he enjoyed that. And every review I've read of that said that this is one of the worst things I've ever seen, except for Tim Curry. Tim Curry's great, which is my review of everything that Tim Curry's ever done.
Potentially including Gingerclown?
But, well, we'll see.
We'll have to find out.
We'll find out, yes. I do want to say, the TV miniseries It, when I watched that, the first time I watched that, I rented that DVD from Blockbuster, and it was one of those old school, because it was a TV miniseries, it was one of those old school DVDs where you had to, like, flip it over. Half of the movie was on one side and the other half was on the other side. I was never aware of that. So the first time I watched the TV miniseries that Tim Curry was in, I actually watched it backwards. I watched part 2.
You watched the adults.
Yes, I watched the adult side first, and I'm like, this isn't great. And then about midway through, I realized, oh, that's why there was no opening credits.
Yeah, there's supposed to be kids in this.
I fucked this up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Much like the recent movie versions of It with Bill Skarsgård, I would say the TV miniseries, watch the first half, and then you can stop.
Okay.
It is half of a good story, because famously Stephen King wrote it while on all of the cocaine, and it goes to some weird places, least of which is child orgy, which none of the adaptations have seen fit to adapt for obvious reasons. Yes, that's a thing that I always have to constantly remind myself totally happened. It is still in any copy of It that you can get from... It hasn't been excised from the book at all.
I'm pretty happy that I've never delved into the It franchise.
Alright, well, speaking of franchises, let's see what clearly is going to be the first in the long-running Gingerclown trilogy. And when we come back, we'll tell you
all about the iconic Brain Crusher, or whatever the fuck their name is.
Skull fucker. I don't know.
Worm man.
Worm creature. I gotta look them up again. They're amazing. We're Gingerclown, Brain Eater, Stomach Crumble, Worm Creature, and Nellie the Spider Woman.
Nellie the Spider Woman.
They sound like rejects from the BFG. All right, we'll see you after this, and listen to this charity spot and give this charity money. Do it, cause
or else
Gingerclown will get ya.
He's gonna get you.
He's gonna get you with his trademark.
We'll tell you later.
I don't know. I don't know what Gingerclown does. Maybe he throws popcorn at you. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Between the years of 1980 and 2012, Indigenous women and girls represented 16% of all female homicides in Canada, while constituting only 4% of the female population. From 2001 to 2015, the homicide rate for Indigenous women in Canada was almost 6 times as high as the homicide rate for other women. 582 cases have been documented since the 1960s, though advocacy groups say that the number is much higher than that, with the highest number of cases being right here in British Columbia. In their own words, the Native Women's Association of Canada is an Indigenous organization representing the political voice of Indigenous women, girls, and gender-diverse people in Canada, inclusive of First Nations on and off the reserve, status and non-status, disenfranchised, Métis, and Inuit. The NWAC was founded on the collective goal to enhance, promote, and foster the social, economical, cultural, and political well-being of Indigenous women within their respective communities and societies. They work to preserve Indigenous culture and advance the well-being of all Indigenous women. They work on a variety of issues such as employment, labor, health, violence prevention, human rights, environment, early learning childcare, and international affairs. If you need an example of the sort of treatment Indigenous women have to go through, take a look at how the media is covering the death of Gabby Petito. Now, the last thing I would want to imply is that her tragic death, which at this time is still under investigation, is anything other than a senseless and avoidable tragedy, and my heart goes out to her friends and family. But ask yourself this. When was the last time you saw Twitter this active surrounding the disappearance of an Indigenous or an Aboriginal woman? A demographic that, as was previously stated, goes missing far more often than white women do. Shouldn't the disappearance of all women be treated with the same urgency and media blitz? During this time of COVID-19, Indigenous communities are hit especially hard. A donation to the Native Women's Association of Canada will help women, their families, and their communities
with the unique and unfair challenges that they have to face. To make a donation, visit the link in our episode bio at nwac.ca/donate.
It's a good thing that we had sort of a short introduction to this movie because we got a lot to fucking talk about.
A lot of time on that. Do you know the one thing that's better than the movie Gingerclown?
Not much. What?
Pussy!
Pussy!
Welcome back!
Yes.
That was one of the most amazing fucking things we've watched on this show in a long time, man.
Wow! You said it because what a fucking treasure trove that movie is. Oh my god!
Where to begin?
What do you even say about this kind of movie? This is like clearly the idea of a guy who's a fan of a bunch of different movies.
This guy's seen a lot of other movies.
But like with no real grasp on filmmaking. But he had a budget to make a lot of goofy puppets and to film at an amusement park at night, and he just went to town on the most batshit insane script I've ever witnessed.
This movie is really saved by a couple of things, because there is a lot of just wandering around and scenes repeating themselves and lines of dialogue repeating themselves right after another. But this movie is saved by two things. One, the absolutely game cast. Everyone is having so much fun doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's saved by the fact that a lot of, basically all of the creatures are all practical effects, and they're built models with moving mouths either by puppeteering or by gears, or if this was crappy CGI and people were giving more subdued performances, this would be a real snorefest. But as a result, I had so much fun watching this.
It's a delightful fucking time watching these goofy animatronic puppet creatures that look like bad college football mascots.
Yes.
They're all top heavy. They're all like 7 feet tall with like the little spindly legs of the people operating them.
You've seen some full moon feature movies before, right?
A handful, yeah.
The Evil Bong series and Ginger Dead Man. Yeah, this feels
Puppet
very...
Master, yeah.
Yeah, this feels like a Hungarian cousin to that. Well, first of all, I mean, like, it's really hard to figure out where to start, but I'll start with where I like to start a lot coming back after watching these movies, and that's immediately taking the title of the movie to task, because this creature, he's barely a clown, and he's decisively not that ginger.
No.
Why on earth was he called Gingerclown?
Good question.
Great question, right?
Because he's like gingerly kind of a clown. Like it's like kind of. He's got like the painted mouth and like maybe kind of a red looking nose. And he laughs a lot like a killer evil clown. That's about it.
How would you describe Gingerclown to the audience listening here? Because it is an odd creature design. Most of these creature designs are odd. They're weirdly bulky.
They're top heavy.
Places.
Yeah.
They're top heavy. I can only assume that is to hide something, either the machinery that is making the mouth move, or else the person inside of the costume that's making shit move. But they all have big hunchbacks.
Yeah. The closest thing I could equate this to is the clown villain from Spawn.
Yeah, the Violator.
The Violator. Yeah. When he's in that form. Yeah, because it's a long, like the Gingerclown face is long and gaunt looking. It's got yellow glowing eyes, which are the only CGI effect you'll see in the whole movie.
There's a couple of CGI effects.
Yeah.
And one of them is Gingerclown has like kind of like fire after effects coming out of his eyes, but also not all the time.
Yeah, and he's got weird fins growing out the side of
He has like abomination fins. Like he's like a gill man.
Yeah, a creature from the Black Lagoon looking kind of thing. Yeah.
He, like other than the fact that he kind of has like the red nose, and of course he's in the carnival with the clown iconography around, he really doesn't resemble a ginger clown.
No.
I mean, take a look at the DVD case that we have here. That is both not Tim Curry and not what Gingerclown looks like. That's just like a very regular looking man clown type thing.
That is like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. That is not the clown that we saw in this movie.
Not remotely.
Of course, what we saw in this movie wasn't really a clown anyways.
So,
you know what I really clued in for this movie is this was like clearly written in the director's native tongue, and then I think they just ran it through like a bad free-to-use translator software,
with no one doing an actual editing or dialogue pass on it afterwards.
Because like the English does not phonetically work well. The whole movie is like in English, but it's a very broken English.
Like, it's a literal word-for-word translation that I'm sure sounds fine in the native Hungarian, but the syntax and synonyms are just wrong when made to be in English. Like, characters will say something like, oh, this guy is a tremendously great egomaniac, and I have a great loathing for him with my whole self, or something like that.
And most of the actors are clearly Hungarian actors that they cast for this.
Yeah.
I would definitely wager that the main human antagonist is a Hungarian. It's so okay. Look, we got to get into this plot. Okay, so we get into this. So our story takes place in 1983, Hollywood, California.
For no reason.
For no real reason, other than I guess this director really loves movies. He really loves Hollywood movies.
Yeah, considering like all the fucking kids are dressed like the 1950s and driving
so
1950s cars.
Weird. Why have the title card pop up telling us that it's 1983, a weird time to set your movie, but then immediately have people in
Oldsmobile and
Oldsmobiles
Studebakers and
wearing the college football jackets and
Yeah.
everything. Looks like they just came from a sock hop or the malt shop or something.
yeah. So all the teens are hanging out at Makeout Point,
Which is behind the Hollywood sign.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are introduced to probably our favorite character in the movie.
Easily.
Biff, like, wow, does he come out the gate swinging, this guy.
Played by an actor named Michael Cannell Griffiths, who I am dead certain is not an American actor. He is also the only... Oh no, I guess maybe he is. That's wild. This is the only movie he's been in. This is his only acting performance.
What a shame.
What an
Well,
absolute shame.
Maybe, like, a good thing, because he doesn't seem to have any control over the volume of his voice.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Every word he says is yelling.
Told you so. Only the best for my girl. Isn't that right, guys? If we keep up the effort like this, then I can get a scholarship easy. Then there's no stopping till I turn pro. You know what that means?
That you can be a pro?
Yeah, damn fucking right I can be a pro athlete. Fame, money, women, and all the booze and weed we can get our hands on.
So Biff. His name is literally Biff, just to get into your heads that this is the bully, the asshole boyfriend. So yeah, he's there with his cronies, and all of the girls are wearing like poodle skirts. It's like, it's the fucking, it's so wild that it's 1983. But he's there with his gang, and he's there with his girlfriend Jenny, who is not having any of Biff's bullshit tonight.
Well, would you, if like you were sitting next to a guy who was just screaming at you and talking about like how much like your dad's a loser, am I right, everybody?
It's like they're sitting as close together as we are sitting to each other right now. This actor is screaming all of his lines, and he truly never stops the entire movie.
No. The high school nerd comes by on his bicycle.
A real Marty Shalom Weinstein, if I've ever seen one. Yeah, Sam the nerd comes by on his bike.
He stops just to get yelled at by Biff. Hey, you want to fuck my girlfriend?
So how about it, Tully? Would you like her? You would like the girl, ain't that right?
You're an asshole, Beth. Take me home now.
What would you do for a kiss from my babe, from my sexy Jenny?
Go to hell.
Just look at this body.
It'll make you a real man.
It's really like weirdly aggressive, and I mean like these are just archetypes, so we don't really need backstory. But like we truly know nothing about these characters up until this moment, which is kind of led to believe that he's tormented at school. It's the classic, oh, you want to be a real man, you want to run with the wolf pack. Why don't you fuck my girlfriend or not?
It's like, hey nerd, do you want to be one of the cool kids? Do you want to be a real man? Do you want to fuck my girlfriend while I watch?
What is this guy's...
I don't know.
Like, does he want him to join the gang? Because he kind of strong arms him into going to like the abandoned amusement park. You do this, you stay there for a couple hours, you bring me back something scary, and I'll let you fuck my girlfriend. Like, that's the gist I got.
That is the gist of the plot that gets things rolling here. That truly is what's going on.
Of course, it wants nothing to do with it. The girlfriend is like, she's had a fucking enough of this, but all the kids like they go along with it. The fucking posse goes along with it.
Yeah, I mean the posse truly doesn't have any personality of their own. There are a bunch of other girls there, but none of them are raising any sort of objection to what Biff are doing. They're just giggling morons. I love how everyone is at the very least trying to do some semblance of an American accent.
Except for one.
Except for fucking Jerry,
Yeah.
who is just a Hungarian actor and isn't trying to hide his accent at all. And
You should go to the old amusement park and come back some kind of evidence, like some corpses.
truly, near the end of his screen time, is barely saying words. Like, he's not enunciating at all.
It's pretty cool that this group allowed, like, the foreign exchange student to
Yeah.
hang out with him, like, roped him into the group.
Yeah, they're bullies, but they're weirdly progressive bullies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they go to this abandoned amusement park that was closed down in 1928.
Which is a great line of dialogue. The one member of the gang is saying, they closed this down in 1928, and it hasn't been opened in 1928, except for that one time in the 1960s when they tried to reopen it again. So it hasn't been closed since 1928. You just
It's been closed since 1968, yeah.
just immediately contradicted themselves.
Yeah.
It's the spooky amusement park where shit happens and Gingerclown is in there.
Yeah.
So obviously, we as the audience know what's going to happen.
But it's also never explained where these monsters come from. Are these, like, mutated people from runoff of, like, a chemical waste? Are these, like, hellspawn demons? Are they aliens? What the fuck are these things?
I would like to think that they're demons. It feels like that's what the movie is putting out there. But again, yes, it's never truly, fully explained what these creatures are or where they came from. They've just always kind of been... We never learned the lore of Gingerclown.
Yeah.
They're just monsters.
Every time it seems like they're gonna, like, peel back some kind of backstory and just, like, peer into the history of these things, it veers into weird fucking tangents.
Just just absolute inane fucking dialogue. It's simultaneously the best part of the movie and also just a complete fucking waste of time.
Yeah,
because
like-
nothing gets accomplished. It's just them saying colorful fucking curse words.
Yes.
I loved the language.
They're
in
all
this
fucking
movie.
potty mouths
They're
in this.
all potty mouths.
But, like, how many times were we watching a scene and we're, like, trying to, like, not trying to, we're getting invested in it, and then at the end we're just, like, throw our hands up in the air, like, I can't follow this anymore. Like,
My arms were raised for half of the runtime.
There's no point in trying to pay attention to what's going on because nothing matters.
So anyway, the gist of the plot is that Sam the nerd is peer pressured into going into this carnival to get something spooky to prove himself to the cool kids. After he leaves, Jenny, the girlfriend, is all like, fuck you, Biff, I don't know why I'm dating you anyway, and she goes after him. And then, like, 10 minutes later, the insult finally hits Biff's brain. He's all like, hey, you can't call me an asshole. And then he goes after it. So it's the three of them wandering around, sometimes together, sometimes separate, throughout this carnival of terrors. And they run into a creature, most of whom don't realize that they're there, and they're just talking to themselves. And then it's just a series of scenes where Sam gets captured by Gingerclown, and then escapes, and then gets captured by Gingerclown, and then escapes. That happens 4 fucking times.
There's so many instances where we're just thinking, like, oh man, like, poor Sam's killed, he's taken out of the movie. No, he's just been dragged to another location, wakes up, evades Gingerclown for a bit, only to get captured again. Like, how many death fake outs are there in this movie?
What was Gingerclown trying to accomplish?
We don't know!
No, we don't. No.
At one point, it's like, what do you want from me? Oh, it'd take too long to explain. Like, fuck you, screenwriter.
Are you sure? Kind of seems like he just wanted to, like... He mentions near the end of the movie that there has to be some sort of sacrifice. But it's like, yeah, you're monsters. We assume that you want to eat the children.
To appease what? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Satan. Yeah, who, like, really,
Whatever.
who can say? Basically just explain the entire plot of this movie.
Yeah.
They just wander around. Shit happens.
Yeah, it's easier to just, like, explain the events that happen. Like,
we can go into each of the monsters because they're all kind of amazing.
I mean, one thing I do love about this movie is Jenny, the girlfriend, like, once she finds Sam in the amusement park, they don't try to escape. She seems, like, very keen to keep going deeper and deeper into this amusement park, even though she's like, oh, this place is too much. This place is scary as hell. Let's keep going.
Well,
I don't want to be here anymore. Let's keep going through instead of going back the way they came.
They see what looks like a corpse lying in the boat that's going into the tunnel of love, and so naturally they get in a boat and they follow it for no real reason. But then when they get to the end of it, before they get in, Gingerclown grabs whatever that is, grabs the corpse out of, and then by the time they get there, it's an empty boat, and by the time they get in there, Jenny's just all like, look, there's a way out. It's like, why the fuck did you go in? You didn't have to go in.
You didn't have to
There
be
was
in the
no
first
reason.
place.
There was no reason for you to go in the first place. Yeah, and it's just that. It's just that scene repeated.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
So they come across this spooky carousel where they have like their first encounter, not even an encounter. They see like a projection of Gingerclown, to which Tommy describes as
Tommy?
Sam. Sorry,
Sam Tully.
Sam Tully. Yeah. He describes as something like Eastern magic or freaks. Sure, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
This is the first time we hear Tim Curry's Gingerclown introduction.
Feel free to call me something like this. Clown. Clowny. Mr. Clown. But never, never call me Dorothy. Hate that fucking name.
And that apparently is such a funny line to this screenwriter that the clown repeats that near the end of the movie verbatim for no real payoff.
What would happen if these kids did call him Dorothy? Would he like lose his powers? Would that like physically harm him?
It would make about as much sense about how they end up defeating the clown in the end anyway. To just call him Dorothy and be like, no. But in addition to him not appearing Ginger, he also never identifies himself as Gingerclown.
No.
He gives them multiple names you can call him, but not one of them is Gingerclown.
I wonder if in some Hungarian dialects, Gingerclown is like some kind of like mythical beast.
Possibly. I guess I'll Google that. That's worth a Google.
So they come across a tea kettle puppet that tells them to go fuck themselves or whatever.
I'm a fucking tea kettle. You asshole.
What are you?
I'm a tea kettle, asshole. What you think, Marilyn Monroe?
Well, what's the best way out of here? You're gonna fucking die. I hate you both. And all right, see you later, tea kettle.
Sam, let's get the hell out of here. Are you just such a dirty disease traps? You're driving me fucking nuts.
Says a couple of other insults that we won't repeat here. Yeah, this tea kettle is straight out of Full Moon Features. Then we get our second of our celebrity voice acting cameos. None of the celebrities I mentioned earlier actually show up in this movie. They spent an hour in a voice recording booth, and then they were handed a sizable Hungarian paycheck. So we run into...
Eventually, we run into another monster. There is so much... Like, there's at least 5 to 10 minutes of wandering around through the amusement park before they encounter the next monster. And that's like scene to scene what it's like.
So Brad Dourif is credited as Worm Creature.
A.K.A. Drew.
A.K.A. Drew. This is one of the only monsters that has a human name, and he's a big blob. He's a big purple blob that is clearly a fiberglass effect where someone can poke their actual hands out through it.
Yeah.
But he's just got like he has no arms.
Yeah.
He's like a big lump of pudding with a puppeteering mouth and yellow eyes that move back and forth, and then someone is using their actual practical hands.
Yeah.
And
Very Jabba the Hutt.
And he inexplicably has a sidekick named Dennis,
Who's just a ball.
who's just a big metal ball, but can talk.
He can talk, and he...
Just like with a regular person voice.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Drew the Worm Creature's whole deal is that he hates the music that's... No, he hates the music and the technology that they have available at the amusement park. He's like, why do we have to keep using this outdated machinery? Can't we get, like, something modern in here?
He's about to start singing, and then I guess his Victrola or whatever malfunctions, and he has to call Dennis the sentient ball.
The maintenance ball.
The maintenance ball. What the fuck was Dennis? What purpose was big? It's just like they ran out of creatures, and on the day, it's all like, what do we have available?
Yeah.
And that was it. That was just like...
I got my wife's exercise ball in the car.
Yeah, he likes Drew, the Worm Creature, just like, he likes the classics, man. He likes Sinatra, Bing Crosby.
He hates Bowie.
Sometimes I would just like to say, boss is a cheap bastard. He has no balls to change anything.
Suck my balls, Drew. You won't drag me into this crap. If you want to modernize so much, you could really just change music once in a while. It's just that it would be nice to hear something else. Johnny Cash or Bowie.
Bowie, my ass. That guy is giving me the willies. What does that man look like? Does he have just one mirror in the house?
What the fuck do you mean by that? What that's supposed to
What
mean?
earth does that mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very odd. Again, probably run through a Hungarian filter.
If this
here.
I need this director to explain that joke to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this director.
We have old saying in Hungary.
Man with only one mirror clearly must be Starman from the sky.
So Sam and Sam says like the fucking weeniest line was, all right, we have three choices. We can either go past this worm creature. I don't want to do that. We can go back the way we came. I don't want to do that either. Or we stay right here, and I don't want to do that either.
And then Jenny says, we got a fourth option. We can get the fuck out of here. And it's like, that's kind of related to the options that he just listed, though.
Oh, the banter between these people as they start to endear themselves to each other.
And this is it. This is Brad Dourif's only scene. He never interacts with the main characters. He just argues with this sentient ball. He's not really even doing a voice that different from the Chucky voice, really, because he's just screaming.
And he's just in the movie for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
and then that's a wrap.
The common thread between all five of these actors who are in here, they are famously actors who will pretty much do whatever. You know, like, you got a script, Lance Henriksen will be in that shit, you know? Like, it's like, they don't care. As long as they get like, at least $500 and a hot meal for the day, they're pretty good.
What is this Gingerclown? Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? Sam has, at one point, Jenny just like asks him, hey, what's with that backpack that you have? You know, that super noticeable backpack. I guess that's like an plot point to bring up. He mentions that, like, his the most important possession in the world is in this backpack, and it's like a fucking Twilight Zone comic book. And he says, like, I love comic books because the pictures are colorful, and the good guys always win in the end, and I think that's, like, an important message.
Neither of those things are true. Sometimes they're in black and white, and very often, in most comic books, the good guy does not win.
Can you think of any Twilight Zone where the good guys win at the end? They're all
all those Twilight Zones with all the happy endings. Yeah.
But it's just like he spends a lot of time talking up this comic book and why it's super important to him. And like, are you trying to, like, are you actually attracted to this girl? Are you trying to pick her up? Because she doesn't seem the type to be into comic books.
So Gingerclown steals the bag later on, and we do eventually see what the contents of the bag are, including, I shit you not, the literal fucking sports almanac from Back to the Future Part 2. So we now know why the bully's character's name is Biff, because this Hungarian director has clearly seen a lot of movies.
Maybe that's Gingerclown's plan, to go back in time and bet on all these sports games and become a billionaire.
This was like one of the branching alternate futures that happened when Biff stole the almanac.
That's not the only reference to another film.
Lots of movie references.
Like,
well, Sam is wearing a t-shirt that says Blade Runner, which either was a demand by Sean Yun for appearing in the movie, or he had the t-shirt on, and the director was all like, I need to try and get someone from Blade Runner in this movie, otherwise the t-shirt won't make any sense to the viewer.
And it's funny, Sean Yun doesn't even have any screen time with
not
Sam.
at all. No.
But I bet you the director's like showing her the days, and he's like, Blade Runner?
It's like, yeah, I was in, I was in
Great.
that. That's cool. You can make that out. So that's SEAN.
Yes, like the boy. and there's a poster for Rocky Horror Picture Show in a locker room somewhere.
Just in case you didn't get it. Yeah, just in case. I guess it would have been too on the nose to have a picture of Pennywise, but But also within Sam's book bag, something that comes up in confusingly the last line of dialogue in the movie. He, I guess, is a budding artist, and he has a sketchbook, and we can see Gingerclown, I guess, kind of leaf through the sketchbook, and there's all of these pictures of Sam making out with Jenny in it. So I guess that's meant to imply that he's had a crush on her for a while, but it's just one of many plot threads that are brought up in this movie that are never really referenced or given any time.
Or matter.
Or truly matter at all. Yes. This bag is brought up like it's going to be a really important plot point, and it's just not. It just has no effect on the plot whatsoever. It's just a thing that the nerd has that we're going to just drop.
Yeah. So Jenny and Sam are walking through the amusement park. They come across Lance Henriksen and Michael Winslow's...
We thought that they were going to have really small scenes, but they do, in fact, come back later. These are the only monsters that actually have more than one scene other than Gingerclown. Lance Henriksen is Brain Eater, and Michael Winslow is Stomach Crumble. Brain Eater loves to eat brains, and Stomach Crumble is gross.
Yeah.
And he farts and burps a lot.
Yeah.
Which is why you hire Michael Winslow, because we can only naturally assume that he is doing all of that fully himself, because why else would you hire Michael Winslow to do anything?
It seems like a waste of his talents to just get, like, fart sound effects out of it.
That is true. But, like, it's so funny putting these two guys next to one another, because Michael Winslow is giving 110, and Lance Henriksen is maybe just giving 10.
Yeah.
He's just doing his regular fucking talking voice.
Yeah.
And by the end of the recording, he's giving like a little extra like shine on it in the very beginning. He's kind of all like, "Ooh, brains, I love brains, yum yum yum." And by the end of it, he's just like, fuck you too.
Yeah.
he's just done. By the end of his voice recording, he's just done. He's just done with this whole thing.
Michael Winslow is going, "You're disgusting." And Winston's like, "Yeah, well, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, go fuck yourself, you fucking mook.
You know what? Fuck it. Do it yourself. Fine. Fine.
Fine. Oh my god, fine.
That'll be it. I don't care either. I will do your work for you. You fucking brain-dead moron. Moron. I heard that. Then fuck you. And fuck you too.
It's got great, the comedic pairing of brain crusher
of the
and stomach
century.
whatever.
And they're like weird cyclops monsters that also have weird bulky backs that I'm assuming is where all the robot parts are or whatever. I truly don't know. Very odd designs, and they really don't do anything. They kidnap Biff at one point, and they're all like, "Let's eat his brain here. No, let's eat his brain over by the Ferris wheel. And you know what? Fuck the whole thing. Yeah, fuck you too." And then they walk off and they don't eat Biff.
Yeah.
What are their plans? What are they doing? They're just wasting all of our time. Like, they're just, like, arguing.
They are definitely wasting our time.
Biff is
They're
just
wasting Biff's time. Like,
Yeah.
even he says, like, "Please stop."
Please stop. Just kill me. Just fucking kill me already. I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to listen to Michael Winslow improv any longer. Please.
Yeah, Jenny and Sam, like, they go up to Biff and, like, "Biff, like, oh, we gotta get out of here." And Biff immediately turns on Sam and says, like, "This is all your fault. If you hadn't tagged along, you know, if you hadn't allowed yourself to be strong-armed by me and to go into
If
the
you
amusement..."
hadn't gone along with this plan that was entirely my idea that I kind of forced you to do, we never would have been in this situation.
Yeah, if I hadn't goaded you into going after my girlfriend.
Look, I'm not going to argue Biff's logic, because he's barely a character. He's barely a human being, so that's fine. That's the one thing that I will just kind of naturally accept, sight unforeseen in this movie, is that Biff will act like a moron. But of course, he's still giving the best performance.
Absolutely, yeah. He's like the funniest fucking character. Just like
character's so
his
funny.
lines at all, yeah.
Okay, we said it when we came back from the break, but we have to explain and highlight Biff's my favorite line before they get to the carnival.
City lights. Stars. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do you know what's more beautiful than this? Pussy!
That is a great pussy drop, man. It is almost a Shark Attack 3 levels of a pussy drop line, man. That is...
We'll meet back here at 8 a.m. Don't be late.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too, but, you know, I'm really wired. What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
God, that was a great delivery.
It's
Oh,
fantastic.
boy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know I was harking on, like, the script being, you know, like, loosely translated from, like, another language. You know what? No problems. When you get quality dialogue like that.
If you watch this movie, and to jump ahead a little bit in the podcast, I recommend you should watch this movie.
Oh, yes.
Do what we did and turn the subtitles on, because you have to see some of this dialogue to truly appreciate how great it is.
Mm-hmm. Especially, like, the breaks in it, too. Like, there's one part where, like, Biff's yelling back at the monsters. He's like, "Nobody fucks with Biff!" But, like, the way that he has the pause and the subtitles lining up,
he catches his breath in the middle of it.
Says, "Nobody fucks!"
Nobody fucks
with Biff!
Oh, man. So, and then there's, like, later on, Jenny's stumbling around in the dark on her own, and there's, like, a creepy voice whispering to her, and it's just like, Jenny, And then
Jenny, who can I turn to?
Okay, very well done. I'll give you a small amount of applause.
That's a two-tone reference, kids.
It's just getting, it's just giving her like little threats and stuff. And then at one point it says, "I get you," not "I'll get you."
Yeah.
Like "I get you."
Oh, and then she gets licked by like a blue tongue.
Yeah.
Which, rightfully like freaks her the hell out.
Yeah.
And then she goes like running off and screaming, but then she kind of stops in the middle of the room and freaks the fuck out. And yes, that's a good character decision to like freak out after an event like that. However, to the audience, there's really nothing around her, and she's just screaming at nothing.
And what's weird about the tongue is obviously that's a practical effect that they had to build, and it's a good practical effect. It's a big blue slimy tongue that comes down. What's weird is that earlier on, when Biff is wandering around, Gingerclown is tormenting him, and he says, like, "How about a little tongue, Biff?" And then Gingerclown just grabs him. But
Yeah.
if the line is, "How about a little tongue?" why not use the fucking tongue prop that you've already built?
Because they didn't include that into the Gingerclown costume.
I suppose
they already
so, yeah.
built that costume.
And also, I wouldn't put it past Tim Curry also improvising a lot of the shit that he probably made up.
I wouldn't put it past the writer-director to have, like, forgotten to do that.
Yeah.
Or to have just, like, they're totally separate ideas.
I want to just say some of my favorite Gingerclown lines. He's tormenting Sam, and he's going,
I'm just a tiny, lonely yellow duck who wants to play with his duck dude.
All right.
"It's like my mother always said."
Quack, quack, quacker. Time to die, motherfucker.
God damn it!
Fantastic.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Holy shit. I
All right.
should have written down way more of these. Okay, let's talk about Nellie the Spider Woman.
Yes, thank you.
Sean Young's return to acting, everyone.
So Jenny finds herself in the bumper cars area, and there is this stationary spider creature.
Yeah, it's really...
with a tiny head.
It's really not that alarming of a creature because it doesn't give the idea that it could move or attack you in any way. It's just like perfectly stationary. It doesn't look like it has any sort of mobility whatsoever other than like one leg.
You could just walk away.
You could just like you don't even walk away, just like take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
And then it's like
This is the part where like she should like clue in, like, is this a prank? Is this really happening?
So Nellie the Spider Woman wants to play some sort of game with Jenny. It's a wildly unspecific game.
The rules are made up on the fly. The central premise is I'm going to pick up a head and like a severed head.
A severed head here.
And I'm going to toss it nearby, like within arm's reach of
I
each
guess if it lands a certain way, that's either good or bad.
Yeah. And then we have a rhyme off.
We have a rhyme off where we say random numbers in no real sequential order, and then whatever is the last number that I end up with, I have to find some sort of rhyme to do with it.
Let's play this game right now, Cass.
Sure.
3, 6, 4, 5. I would like to stay alive.
7, 2, 5, 9. On your bones, I'm going to dine. See, it's just this shit. It's just like
5, 4, 3, 2. I'm better at this game than you.
Yeah,
like,
it's like a real like Nellie the Spider Woman really fucks herself over here because Jenny figures out really early on the easy way to just kind of get over this game is just be all like blah 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 blah. I'm gonna eat your liver, and then she's all like,
well, what she says is
5, 3, 2, 7, and 5. I believe it's your final jive.
that's a good one.
To which Nellie responds,
I'm gonna shit my pants.
I'm gonna shit my pants. And then she hands Jenny a shotgun and says, "Blow my brains out, please, because I've lost the game. The game that I already established is a complete bullshit game that has no real rules to it whatsoever, but please just kill me. I shit my pants. I shit my pants!
That whole sequence, I could not... God damn, I thought I was having a stroke.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's a real fucking thing. Now, speaking of having a stroke while watching this movie, huge chunks of the cinematography for this are blurry as all hell. Cut to like one shot of a character, and it'll be perfectly in focus, and then it'll cut to another one where it's completely out of focus. And as I was looking up up some trivia shit on IMDb, I think I may have figured out why. Apparently, when this movie was screened in theaters, I'm assuming only in Hungary, it was actually Gingerclown 3D.
Oh!
This actually was a 3D movie, or was filmed in some sort of 3D in some way. So I guess the conversion to home video, they just kind of didn't bother to make it not blurry.
That makes a lot of sense, because so many of these shots just have like this eerie, like unearthly quality to it that looks like a bad green screen effect, but it's not green screen.
Yeah.
And like things in the background are weirdly in focus when there's like a prominent thing in the foreground.
Like if they show a shot of the moon, and like the moon is like weirdly super duper in focus, but then you cut down to the cars where everyone's sitting, and most of the characters who are perfectly in frame, their faces a little blurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't transfer over terribly well to the Apple iTunes version of this that I bought for $4. I own this movie now, and thank goodness I do.
Worth every penny. I think that price was too low for this masterpiece.
If anything, I should retroactively give them more money.
Here, I think I owe you this much. So Biff does die.
You really called this, and I don't, to your credit, I have no idea how you called the exact method by how Biff dies, because I wouldn't have assumed A plus B equals C in that situation. How did you get there?
Just a random shot in the dark, really. Yeah. I mean, like, you can't anticipate this movie whatsoever. Before this happens, he gets, like, this little zombie girl on a tricycle comes up and bites him in the arm. He just kind of takes it like a man.
he holds on that for, like, a really long time. It doesn't even look like it bothers him this much.
No screaming, no flinching.
It's the only monster that is played by an actual other human being. It's not like a person in a costume. It's just a little girl on a tricycle with zombie makeup on. And she's just in frame for, like, 5 seconds. She bites his arm longer than she should, and then she like wheels away, and he seems oddly unaffected by it.
Yeah.
It seems like it just kind of annoys him more than anything else.
Everything fucking annoys this guy.
And then he climbs into the bumper cars.
No, the tilt-a-whirl or whatever. Like,
was it? Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and then Gingerclown activates the ride, and he...
I think it might have been Brain Eater that activated the ride, but whatever.
It's
all Gingerclown.
Whatever.
Essentially.
And he speeds up the machine, and he keeps going faster and faster and faster until the ride stops, and he's just been, like, skeletonized.
He's just a fleshy skeleton, and as he was going around, he's all like, oh, is he a skeleton? And then, like, seconds later, he turned into a skeleton, and like, how the fuck did you know that was gonna happen?
Because my two guesses for that were gonna be, there's gonna be, like, some razor wire that comes by and slices his head off, but I thought, like, no, this movie doesn't seem like it knows how to do decapitations.
Right.
He's probably just, like, the ride's gonna stop, and he's just gonna be, like, a skeleton. But I thought it was gonna be, like, a chalk white, like, science lab room skeleton, and not, like, a gooey, bloody skeleton.
Some blood on it. This is a good time to point out that, despite the fact that this movie has a huge potty mouth and says some insults that are not cool, it's weirdly actually not that gory. Like, as the characters go through the Carnival of Terrors or whatever, their clothes get ripped and they get blood on them and they get, like, wounds, but Biff's the only character that dies.
Yes.
Yeah. And his death...
The only human character. Like, some of the monsters.
Oh, the spider dies, yes. But,
dies.
like, and it's not like a thing where, like, he's, like, torn limb from limb or anything like that. It's, like, one shot he's going around in the tilt-a-whirl, and the next shot he's just a skeleton.
Yeah.
And it's actually not... I mean, there's some blood and gore hanging off of the thing, but it's... Yeah, it's like a weirdly sanitized movie. Like, it's not even like an 18A. I'd call it like a 14A more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, you could, like a teenager could watch this and it would... Well, maybe not, because they call people retards. So I'm sorry for saying that word, everyone, but that is a line from the movie.
That's, repeating the movie here.
That's repeating the movie. The tea kettle says that, I think. Don't blame me. Blame the tea kettle. Blame the tea kettle. From Cerberus's asshole. Sorry.
So Sam gets kidnapped again by Gingerclown.
Is this the third time or the fourth time?
He gets fucking kidnapped by this stupid thing. And this time he's like tied to a chair. So like you assume like he's locked in there for good. And at this point, Gingerclown wants to tell them a story. And
he tells them a joke, and appropriate for the time, he tells a very rambling Norm Macdonald-esque joke.
R.I.P. buddy.
R.I.P. Truly to Norm Macdonald. But yeah, this kind of does sort of have the punchline that Norm Macdonald might tell.
It's a very Shaggy Dog kind of story.
It truly is.
Yeah.
Do you want to try and repeat it here?
Sure. So the time goes that there was a penguin by the name of Gregor Savinovich.
Okay.
No, I won't go that far. But no, the joke is that a fish, a penguin, and a chainsaw are hiking in the woods, and nightfall happens, and the fish says, if we don't get out of here soon, we have to decide which one of us is going to die so the other two can eat. The penguin turns to the chainsaw and says, how long do you have to wait before you eat? The chainsaw proceeds to cut the head off the penguin, and then says to the fish, you don't mind, do you? And the fish says, no, a penguin shouldn't be in the forest anyway.
What was a penguin doing in the
What's a
forest?
penguin doing in the
What's a penguin
forest?
doing in the forest anyway? It's very similar. It may have something to do with the fact that just earlier this morning I was watching the Conan clip where he told the moth story.
Yeah.
But it is very similar sort of punchline where it's just kind of all like, oh shit, a talking dog, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of shit.
But, like, when he's telling the story, I'm thinking, can you please just, like, shed some light on how these monsters got here, what your purpose is? The only thing we kind of allude to is that there's got to be, like, some kind of sacrifice involved here.
Someone has to be.
But I'm not going to sacrifice you, guy who's tied to a chair. I'm going to sacrifice the girlfriend who I haven't captured yet.
Yes, because then he goes after Jenny, and he, like, corners her on a Ferris wheel, does, like, this whole ramp-up thing where he's all like, he full-on goes full Pennywise for a moment. He says, like, I'm your worst nightmare. I'll drive you crazy.
I am the spawn of darkness.
Yeah.
I am the grim reaper of hope. He goes by many names, this guy.
Yeah, and then our heroes triumph, much like every comic book, over Gingerclown. Jenny wraps a chain around one arm, and then Sam comes out of nowhere. I guess he got out of that chair somehow.
We don't see how he escaped.
But we just naturally assume, because he's managed to escape from Gingerclown every subsequent time he got kidnapped.
And what does he do? What is, like, the repeat line that he says as like, the dry, cool wit, I'm gonna kill you line?
Look. It is a well-worn trope. You know, a villain says something earlier in the movie, and then when the hero is getting the villain's getting his comeuppance, the hero repeats the line. It's the whole fucking
a fish, a penguin, and a chainsaw go into the forest.
It's the yippee-ki-yay thing from earlier. You set it up earlier so you can pay it off later.
Yeah.
But the hero doesn't. It's normally not a 2-minute joke, and the hero doesn't normally repeat the joke in its entirety.
Yeah.
He does change the ending, though,
yeah.
which Gingerclown does not like.
He's like, fuck you, fish!
And then dawn comes, and for some reason, Sam and Jenny are walking up a
wooden roller coaster.
A wooden roller coaster.
Instead of, leaving the park.
Yeah, I guess they don't. I mean, it's daytime, so they must know where the exit is now. But for some reason, rather than the final shot, the final shot should be them hand in hand walking out of the park. But for some reason, they're going up.
They're doing an inspection of the wooden roller coaster.
I guess they're going. I guess they're getting up high so they can see where the exit is.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're.
I think it just looks cool.
Yeah.
It's all like, this is clearly an abandoned amusement park that they were able to shoot in, and the director was just all like, we need at least one shot of you walking up the roller coaster.
Do we? Yes, in my great American horror movie, you must end by walking up roller coaster.
What does a Hungarian accent say?
I don't know. I'm doing like vague Eastern European accent. I apologize. But yeah, I can just imagine like the park manager being like, get the fuck down from there! That's not stable. Like you're not certified to walk up that shit. And then we proceed to have a really fucking awesome metalcore rap credit.
Yeah, man. Let me read some trivia from Gingerclown. Now, you were asking while we were watching, what else has this guy directed?
Because we absolutely need to see more movies by this fucker.
So, he hasn't directed much.
Shit.
He has one credit here that is a TV miniseries for something called 2 Minutes to Midnight. It doesn't have any synopsis, but it does star, keeping with him managing to get other icons from horror movies. This movie stars Carol Strukian, who played Lurch in the Addams Family.
Okay.
And also John Kassir, who's the voice of the Crypt Keeper.
Okay.
And he has one movie in production called Captain Flame. Here's the poster for it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very awesome, sort of like 80s inspired.
Is that Mark Strong?
These are all Hungarian
Okay.
actors. There's
right.
no one known in this. The synopsis for this is, Captain Flame is about a burned-out alcoholic superhero who only has the ability to make a small flame with his fingers. His city is being overrun by anarchists, and he becomes the hero the city needs just when it needs one the most. So that seems neat. There's a couple of stills from it, but there's no trailer. Hopefully this is released soon. But yeah, sadly, he just has some short films.
I see.
And other Hungarian stuff.
Well, sir, you have a gift. And I think you're denying the world a gift by not producing and creating more of your original creations, as noted in the opening credits, that these are all based on your original ideas. No one else would take fucking credit for this.
Okay, here's some trivia off IMDb. Most of the sets in this movie are all original. It takes place in the Budapest amusement park. Everybody can see and use it. That's pretty... I'm all saying this verbatim. This is what...
Oh, sweet. So we can walk up that wooden roller coaster, eh?
Tim Curry was the first choice for Gingerclown. That's not trivia, that's just a given.
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie was shot at night, except for one scene that filmed on the last day of shooting in the morning.
No shit,
That's
the
what
whole
we're
movie takes
talking
place
about.
at night.
What are you talking about? We saw that happen.
Or does he mean that the whole movie was shot in one night?
I would believe both. Yes. Okay.
They're trespassing after hours in this movie.
Here's the last piece of trivia, and this is very odd, and I don't quite understand this. Regarding the talking tea kettle. The talking tea kettle was created in 1907 by magician, author, and inventor David P. Abbott. September 22nd, 1863 to June 12th, 1934, as to create an illusion of being able to hear the voices of the dead when placing its spout into its ear. Exposing this fraud in October 1922 was the escape artist Harry Houdini, thus breaking the magician's code of silence.
That puppet was made in the fucking...
That's an actual thing that someone wrote. No.
What does that have to do with the fucking talking puppet?
No one found this interesting, by the way. You know what? I found this interesting. I'm going to be the first person. I'm the first person on IMDb to find this interesting.
That was a trivia added by the writer-director. One thing I wanted to bring up was, as she does, Jenny's wandering through the amusement park, and she comes across a newspaper headline.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? What was going on with that? Yeah.
From, like, the Philadelphia Tribune or something.
You were pointing out that at a certain point, the movie kind of just stops being set in an amusement park, and it's just derelict building. She's in, like, a shed.
Yeah.
And we see, like, a newspaper, and both of our first thought was all like, oh, exposition newspaper, good, cool. We'll be able to find out what's going on with the amusement park.
Yeah, amusement park built on, like ancient burial grounds.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
like, shut down through, like hazardous chemicals.
And she turns the paper around, JFK was shot dead. It's like, okay, sure. Yeah. Did Gingerclown do that? Was he the second sniper?
He was on the grassy knoll, that guy.
If you look very closely in the Zapruder film, there's Gingerclown. Gingerclown's in the back.
Talking about fish and chainsaws and shit.
Holy shit.
I mean, the only other... you know what? It's not important.
Okay.
I was just
Go out on a high note.
Well, I was just going to mention that Jenny was weirdly glossy throughout the whole movie. She was heavily makeup.
Probably because this movie was shot in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy, Jameson, do you recommend Gingerclown?
Fuck yeah, I do.
This is one of the best things we've watched on this show in a really long time.
This needs to be way more popular.
Absolutely.
Like, start doing, like, campaigning for midnight movies of this shit.
This would be a great midnight movie.
Absolutely.
Watching this with, like, a crowd of people, holy shit, this would be so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, the first fucking 5 minutes, you're gonna be rolling in the aisles, just like the antics of Biff.
Yeah.
And his weird Eastern European friend Jerry.
So seek this out. The amount to rent this on iTunes is the exact same amount as it is to buy it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, really, like, you could pay the same amount of money to watch it once, or you could have it forever. You could have a piece of Gingerclown forever, which is what I have. And let me just say,
and you're happier for it.
Money well spent.
Absolutely.
Money in the bank.
Everybody tweet at Amazon Prime, Netflix, hashtag bring back Gingerclown.
Bring back Gingerclown. We gotta get more Gingerclown in our lives. All right, Jameson.
What a happy day. You know, we started out like
we made the best out of a bad situation.
Absolutely,
we really did,
we pulled it off.
We did it. We pulled it off.
Halloween is saved.
All right. Do you have anything to recommend to the people?
Two things I want to plug here. My game, MechWarrior 5, is getting released on PlayStation 5. It's not my game. It's my company's. Not my company's. The company I work for's game.
Wow, that really spiraled.
Yeah.
It started off as your game.
Real self-defeating there, right? Yeah. I'm just trying to be honest here, Kaz. I'm a liar, Lesgard.
It's my game. It's my company's game. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've played a video game. I've seen them on TV.
I got a hot date tonight. Odd date. Dinner alone.
Sears catalog.
I don't deserve this championship. Alright, yeah, MechWarrior 5 is getting released on the PS5. It'll include the DLC 2, which is what everyone at work has been busting their asses on for the last year. And the other thing I wanted to plug is I've been playing Psychonauts 2. That's a delightful game.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. Like, it's everything that I practically loved about the first game. Just like no other. Well, some games nowadays are like really pushing the boundaries of like what you can do with like art direction and level design. But I feel like that really all started with the first Psychonauts game. It's really nice to see like the team back at it.
I mean, how amazing that after all of these years we finally got a Psychonauts 2, because that game famously. I mean, it was a definition of a cult hit.
Yeah.
Because it came out and it just, like, bombed. Like, nobody bought it, but it's just, like, a word of mouth over
critical
time.
darling, yeah.
It just became a critical darling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's this internet culture of people championing the games that they like.
Yeah, the fans demanded it.
We are finally getting the sequel. And, I'd love to play that eventually. I guess I'd have to buy a PS2 to play it, but,
you can get it on Steam.
But I don't have the...
Okay.
You can see the game consoles that I have. I'm decisively old school.
I can see your VCRs. Yes, definitely old school. What do you have to plug? What do you recommend?
So to get myself in the Halloween spirit, I have been re-watching the films of John Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
And I have rediscovered a real hidden gem. Maybe not a hidden gem, but a movie that I thought was fine the first time I watched, and this time around I really, really loved it to the point where I feel like maybe it's my third favorite Carpenter after The Thing and Halloween, of course, and that's 1994's In the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, yeah. That's a Lovecraftian movie, right?
It's kind of his take on Lovecraft. It's kind of his take on the celebrity of horror authors. It's a very Twilight Zone type story. It's Sam Neill is an insurance adjuster who is on the case of a reclusive horror author who has gone missing, and the horror author's new book is so scary people lose their mind when they read it. He goes to like a Twin Peaky town where everything's weird and creepy. It's got some of the best body horror in a John Carpenter movie since The Thing, just like really creepy stuff. It's got just an amazing ending. It has future Darth Vader Hayden Christensen as a ghost paper boy. It's got everything. It's got everything you want in a John Carpenter movie. So I really recommend that. I had a really fun time rewatching that. And another thing that I want to mention, it's not necessarily a plug because I actually kind of thought the movie was kind of mediocre, but I did also see The Eyes of Tammy Faye recently. Speaking of Tim Curry, the true story of Pass the Ammo of Jim Baker and Tammy Faye Baker. And I thought the performances in that were great. Jessica Chastain is probably going to get nominated for an Oscar because she's just wild, just giving a wild performance. Do you know who's in it and who's really good? Playing Tammy Faye's stepfather is Frederick Lane. I don't know if you remember that name. He played Tommy in Coward of the County. And so he's actually really good in the movie. He's got a small role, but it was kind of neat to see him in like a Hollywood movie for a change, and he was actually really good.
I'm surprised you were able to pick him out or remember him.
That's my brain, man. That's my weird fucking brain just remembers this shit, man.
Right.
So I'm glad that he got work. And speaking of getting work, that was 2013's Gingerclown, directed by, I'm going to attempt to say this man's name again.
King Among Men.
King Among Men, Balij Hatvani. If you liked this episode, please follow us on Instagram at the F is this podcast. Follow us on Twitter at the T_K is this. Is that right? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Follow us on Facebook at the fuck is this, which I hope you're updating because I still can't get back on there.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube and you just want to hear it, listen to the Spotify episode. If you're listening to the Spotify, watch it on the YouTube episode. Jameson, take us out.
Nobody fucks!